Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Andrea. So I am in my van and I am a mom of one beautiful daughter. She is 5.5 and she needs a costume for Thursday. They are having Literacy Day and I decided how fun and cute would it be for her to be Princess and the Pea. So we didn't even have that book, so I had to order the book because she has to take it with her while wearing a princess costume on Thursday. And I need a pea, and what crocheter doesn't see this as an opportunity to make something? So I got this big twist from Joann Fabric the other day, and it is bright green, and I thought this would be a fun opportunity to make a pea for her to put on her wrist. So what I'm going to do is do an amigurumi style ball, and then I'm going to make and attach with the same yarn a little wristband and attach it so that she can actually wear it kind of like a wrist corsage. So that is the plan, and if you want to follow along, this is how to make just a regular amigurumi ball, and then we'll attach it with the wristband and hopefully it will make her costume complete. So yes, I am going to do this in my van. It is my lunch break. I am, like I said, a mom who has a full-time job, and so this is where I have to do it. So on my lunch break. So anyway, let's get started and see how this turns out. This is Posh yarn. It is calling for a size 8, but I don't have an 8 with me, so I'm going to use a 6.5 millimeter hook, and it looks like it should work very nicely. So I wouldn't want to go any smaller than this though with this thick squishy yarn, so I kind of lucked out that this is going to be big enough for what I need to do. All right, so let's go ahead and make a magic ring. If you don't know how to make a magic ring, this is so easy. All you do is you put the tail over your hand like this, pin it with your thumb, spread your fingers apart, put the 2 fingers up front like this, wind underneath your middle finger and make an X. Wrap it around, pin it with your pinky so that it doesn't go anywhere. And then take your hook and go underneath that first strand, grab the second strand and pull up a loop, and then just kind of flip it over, lift it up a little bit, yarn over and pull through again, and that's your magic ring. And then I like to, it always folds over like that, so I separate them so that when you hold your ring, when you pull the tail, see, it makes it disappear. And of course we don't want to tug on it too much because we still need to single crochet into the magic ring. And also you can incorporate the tail while you're making your stitches to kind of help blend that in rather than trying to sew it in at the end. So we're going to do a little bit of both. But anyway, now I'm going to single crochet 6 single crochet in the magic ring. So I'm gonna go ahead and do 6 singles in the magic ring. And this is all single crochet. That's 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so there is that. Now I'm going to do 2 single crochets in each single crochet all the way around to double it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first single crochet here, and then I'm going to, I'll go ahead and do the second one. And then I'm gonna go back to, I'm gonna drop the loop, go back to that first one I did and mark it with my marker thread. So grab an extra piece of thread from a different yarn, different color, or you can use the same color if you want, And that will always mark, when we go all the way around, that we are done with our rounds when we get back to the beginning here. And now I feel comfortable pulling my tail, closing up the circle, and you see it just completely disappeared and is a nice little circle. Okay, and so now I've already done 2, and so I'm going to go all the way around with 2 more. And with this plush yarn, be careful, this isn't where we're going because we've already been here. It's this next one, and you'll get better, you'll get good at seeing what's what, because this is the first strand of the stitch and this is the second strand, so you're going directly under both of those for the stitch. And I'm going to do 2. And then I'm going to go to the next one. You can see it's facing you, all facing me almost. So very easy to see. The fuzzy yarn is really, it can become very difficult when it's fuzzy yarn. But this is just squishy, so it's easier to see where you are with the stitches. Okay, and here's my next one. You can see it. Just slide the hook right underneath those, and I'm doing 2, and I'm going to go back into the same stitch for that second. I have 2 more to go right here. Are the last 2 right there. Great. Okay, so I'm back to the beginning. Take a minute. If you're not confident in how you started, take some time to count the stitches. We started with 6 and now we doubled everything to make 12. Let's count them. See if I can hold it back like that. Yeah, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Great. I recommend always counting what you've done because it is very heartbreaking to get further along in something and realize you're off a couple stitches. And you might get away with it in some projects, like blankets and things like that, but a lot of times it's better just to rip it out and do it again. Save yourself the heartache and the trauma and just count before moving on. So anyway, so now I have 12 and I'm going to drop this, lay it across, and now I'm going to do 1 single crochet and then the increase of the 2 single crochet in the next single crochet. So I'm going to do 2 here. And it's the same pattern all the way around. I'm going to do 1 and 1 and then 2 and 1, 1 and 1 and 2 and 1. And what I like to do as part of a trick to kind of help talk my way through it and to remember where I am is to out loud pick either 1 or 2 or A or B. And so, for example, I'll say that my single in this one is going to be A. So I'm going to do A. And then the next I'm going to do 1, 2. Do you understand what I'm saying? Instead of 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, wait a minute, where am I? Instead of that, just eliminate the confusion by giving it a name. That's what helps me. So in my next single crochet, I'm doing 1 single crochet, so I'm going to call it A. And in the next single crochet, I'm going to do 2 single crochets to increase, and I'm going to say 1 and 2. The next one here is A, and the next single is 1, 2. Now you can reverse it, and you can say if there's 1 and 1, it's just 1 and A and B. And you know what? Because of the way this pattern is going to go, I'm going to choose to say the number first and then the A and B, since we have to increase each row to make a bigger circle. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 1 and A and B. And we're back to the beginning. And see, now our circle's getting bigger. And so for this next round, we're going to increase again. And so we're going to do a single crochet in the next 2 single crochets, followed by the increase in the 3rd single crochet. So it's going to go 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. And if that's how you want to do it, that's fine. But I think for what I'm going to, for my own personal choice, and you can count and do however you feel comfortable, whatever works best for you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say 1 in the first single, number 2 in the second single. So I've got 2 stitches, 2 singles, and then in the same stitch, in the 3rd single crochet, same stitch, it'll be 2 single, and I'll just say A and B. Okay, so one more time. Next single, just 1 single, calling it 1. 1 single in the next single, calling it 2. And in that 3rd, I'm increasing by 2, calling it A and B. So do whatever you like and finish this round, and I will see you back at the beginning here. I'm getting pretty close to the size I want. I might do one more and see what it looks like, because I kind of wanted a bigger P, but not too big, because I wanted it to sit on her wrist. And so I think I'm getting close to how big I want this to be. I think one more round ought to do it. So let's do one more round. We'll be counting by, we'll be doing 3 single now instead of 2. And so find where you are. This is where we're coming out of. This is our next stitch. We will do a single crochet in the next stitch. There's 1. 1 in the next, and that is 2. And 1 in the next, that is 3. And now increase by 2, A and B. Okay. Yeah, it's looking really good. I'm liking this. I think this will be the last row. So if you're following along and you're doing a ball like I'm doing, go ahead and finish this, and then we'll start working on making it a nice little ball. This is looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and stop increasing and start building the length of the ball this way, and start building the P down this way to make a ball. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the marker and do single crochets all the way around. That will start to curl it and start bringing it down in the ball shape. And I may do maybe 5 or 6 rows. We'll see what 5 or 6 rows looks like and see if we need to add any more before starting the decrease. All right, so I am done. And I actually did 6 rows, and it is a total of 30 single crochets all the way around. So I think I forgot about telling you that. So I have stopped at 30, so this is what it's looking like so far, and I think it'll be perfect, but it might be too big. We'll see. If it's too big for her wrist, I will cut it back a little bit, make another one that's smaller. But I kind of wanted it to be big because I think it would be cuter and funnier if it were big. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start decreasing the rounds to close up the P here. And when I get a little smaller, I will start to stuff as I go so that the hole doesn't get too small to get the stuffing in there. And that's with just the regular polyfill stuffing. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my marker and I'm going to lay it across again. And this time I'm going to do the exact opposite of how I built up the rows. I'm going to start decreasing in the exact same way. So I left off at 3 singles in, one single in the next 3 with an increase, and now I'm going to do 3 singles and a decrease. So I'm going to do 1 single in the next 3 single crochets, and then decreasing is putting 2 stitches together and making it 1. So I'm going to go into my single crochet, the next one, and bring up a loop, and then go into the very next single crochet and bring up a loop. And so then you have the 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull it all the way through, and that creates 1 single crochet, making 2 become 1. And I'm going to go to the next and do 1 single in the next 3. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to decrease. There's 1, and there's 2. 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull it all through to make 1 stitch. So go ahead and do that all the way around, and I will see you back at the beginning. Okay, so I'm all done, and I am back down to 24 stitches now, and so it's 24 when you're done doing the decrease row, and you pull out your marker thread, lay it across, and do it again, and this time it's the 2 singles. So 1 single in the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 and 2, and then a decrease. So using the next 2 single crochets, three loops on the hook, pull it all together, decrease. So go ahead and do that. 1 single in the next 2, decrease. 1 single, decrease all the way around, and I will see you back when you're done. All right, so this is what it's looking like, and it is at 18 stitches again. And before I start to do this last row, which is really going to close up this hole a lot with the decreases, I'm going to go ahead and stuff it as much as I can before doing that row. And we'll probably be able to get a little more in there, but try to stuff it as best you can now so that you'll be ready to close it soon after this last row here. I'm just going to leave my hook where it is and just break off little pieces and just go ahead and stuff it. Oh, it fell out. That's okay. And just stuff it as tight and as firm as you want. I am going to stuff this pretty well to see if I can get a nice tight ball. Okay, so here is what it looks like, and I've stuffed it pretty well, and I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to do that last row and see what it looks like. If I want, I might be able to get a little more stuffing in there, but we'll see what it looks like. But I think it's stuffed pretty well. It doesn't have to be too big there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and place my marker. I'm coming out of right here, so my next stitch is right here. So I'm going to do one single crochet in the next single, or in the next stitch, I should say. Some of them are decreases, but and just as you work, you're going to have to probably fight that polyfill a little bit. So just use your other fingers and slide it down as you work so that you're not threading the polyfill through your stitches. And the next one is a decrease, so tighten up the yarn there, and in the next two single crochets you will use for your decrease. So there's the first, slide the polyfill down, and 3 loops on the hook and pull through. So yeah, so just every time you go to a new one, slide that polyfill down, go into the next single, do one single, tighten it up, slide that polyfill down, and decrease. All right, so you will do that all the way around to close up this little ball here. Okay, here's what it's looking like. For the final round, we're going to do all decreases all the way around to close up the space. It now has 12 stitches, and we are going to go right back to the 6 we started with after we do the decrease all the way around. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's pull out the marker one last time and mark our spot. And decrease in the next 2 stitches. And go to the next 2. And the next 2. Slack here, get some more slack with my yarn here, and just keep everything nice and tight. I could actually put a little, I am gonna put a little more because now it's getting, yeah, I'm gonna put a little more. I'm gonna stop right where I am, and I'm going to get that over there, stuff a little bit more. You just gauge how much and how tight and where there are voids, and you fill it in however you feel it should be filled in. Yeah, and I think that is pretty good there. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. That's good. Yeah, that looks a lot better, and you know, you just have to play around with it and do whatever works better and best for your project. All right, so back to closing up the circle. Another decrease. Make it nice and tight. And last decrease. That's it. So you can slip stitch in the last, you can slip stitch in this one if you want, and bring up a long tail. Make sure that the one that is moving is the one that you cut. So we'll just do that and we will cut it off. Okay. I've got this nice sewing tail, so I'm just gonna use my yarn needle now and sew it all in. So I'm going to thread my needle. So here's my little yarn needle. This is what mine looks like. And mine doesn't have an angled tip like the ones you see. A lot of times you see that. This is just from Joann Fabric. Okay. All right, so there is that, and I'm gonna start with it on the right here. I'm right-handed. So I am just going to weave in every other one. Pull it tight. Little polyfills coming through. Try to tuck that back in there. And just kind of do wherever you feel. See, that closed up really well. So that looks really good. I am happy with that. I'm gonna go under and just feed it through one more time, and then I'm gonna do, a lot of times you see this in sewing where you go through and you go back through the loop here just to kind of make a knot. And that's all I need to do. So I can go ahead and feed this down into the ball here, come out the side. So I'm hiding the tail now. So go deep within the project, pull a little further than normal. See how that's going in there? And then I'm going to take my scissors and cut it off. And then when you squish it back, you have fed it through and it has disappeared. And this side is where I'm going to attach the band. So I'm going to attach the band from here to here so that it sits right on top of her wrist. So that is where the band is going, on each side right here. For the wristband, go ahead and make a slip knot. And I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, because I'm going to have a total of 4 across. So I need the extra chain, and I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to slip stitch from now on all the way across the next 4 chains. And then I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to turn it. And in the next 4 single, I'm going to slip stitch in the back loop only. So right there, get a little closer there, and slip stitch across again. So back loop only, pull up a loop. Whoops, I almost went for a single. Gotta do slip stitch. And there are 2 more. Go for the slip stitch. There's 1 more right there. Okay. So I'm gonna do that and make it about this long and attach it to the P and see how it looks. Okay, so I sewed on the little band and I put it on her arm just to make sure that she could get her hand in there, and it sits right on top of her forearm. So this is what it looks like when it's done. So just a little strap. that goes right on her forearm, and it sits right up on top of her arm, and it looks really cute, and it's just kind of funny. So that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. It's just a very simple little project for a costume. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.